got YouTube, Big Mike Without Further Ado Retro, and I thought we'd try a little bit of something different. Just going to show you what sort of films I've been picking up and all that. So these are probably pickups over the last maybe month or so. They're not all particularly great films, and I don't pretend to be Barry Norman or Jonathan Ross or anything like that, but it's just a few films there, either good films or films that I think are great films. You know, or I've just picked them up because they were cheap or whatever. So, without further ado, let's have a look what we've got. Cheers. Right, first of all, I have to apologise if you can hear the washing machine. I'm doing me washing at the same time. I just fancied making a video, so I'll sort of go through the stuff that I've got really. So, okay, so the first one is Ghostbusters 2. This is the new release, or it's about a year old now possibly, of the Ghostbusters 2 steel tin. I bought the original Ghostbusters in the new release steel tin, and I didn't buy this one at the time, and I managed to pick this up for £10 I think. At the time when they came out they were about 25-30, so I think I paid that for the first one. So and I managed to pick this one up for a tenner, which I'm quite pleased with. They're really nice steel tins, got some great artwork. I don't know how good that's coming out on the camera, but hopefully it's coming out okay. So, like I say, Ghostbusters 2, classic. So I've got both Ghostbusters on the limited edition steel tins, the latest releases. There are several releases on the Ghostbusters. Many, there's like 4 or 5 different variants, maybe more than that on each film, on both the films. And the new Ghostbusters, which I haven't watched, so everyone says it's not that good, but right. So look, the next one is Chappie. If you haven't seen this film, it is a very cool, very wicked film, very funny, very cool. I've only watched it once. I watched it on a bad, well, not a bad, but on a download, and it wasn't, you know, it's not as good as watching it on a Blu-ray or in the cinema or whatever. So this again is a limited edition steel tin. I believe I got this for about £8 or £9, maybe cheaper. And disc is round the wrong way, so I haven't set this up. So you've got a music disc and the film in there. I can't be well, to put it the right way. You get the idea, and then you got Chappie doing a bit of the graffiti in there. So really cool film. If you haven't seen this film, go and see it. So don't know if you've seen this one, Old School. If you haven't, have a look, because that's another one of my my things. Is Old School's knowledge of films is very, very good. I like to think of myself as a bit of a film buff, but I'd say his knowledge is a little bit better than mine. So I'm trying to find new films that Old School hasn't seen that are good. So trying to give him a few suggestions. This film, I don't know why I picked this up, or why I do. It was cheap. I put a quick cheeky bid on. And it's Mark Wahlberg, The Gambler. Limited edition steel tin again. Okay film, not fantastic. I'm going to open this. Can we open it like that? Yeah, not fantastic. Okay film. If you're after just a film to watch, it was okay. Nothing special in my opinion. And the only reason I got it is because it was cheap. I think I picked this up for £5 or less for the steel tin. So, about a story about a guy, Mark Wahlberg, who plays a guy who's has a gambling addiction, and yeah, watch it. It's not particularly good either, but it's okay. It's watchable, you know. Now, if this is a film I went to the cinema to see, found this very funny. I suppose it might be take a certain type of person or a certain taste in films. Old School hasn't watched this one, but he doesn't think he'll like it. But how can you know if you like something unless you watch it? So, you know, and it is Grimsby, very funny. Sacha Baron Cohen, and I found this really, really funny. I took my cousin and his wife to the cinema to watch this, and we were in tears watching it in the cinema. They both didn't think that they would enjoy it either, so I think it's very, very, very funny. Yeah, just brilliant. If you haven't seen it, give it a chance. You know, a lot of people are sort of off put by Borat. Well, I think Borat was okay, to be honest. There was some parts in it were a little bit over the top, and this new one he's done apparently is causing outrage. But Grimsby is actually quite a good film. There'll definitely be parts where you'll be laughing in it anyway. So I really enjoyed it. I've got to say, I really enjoyed it. So I've got the Stilton, nice Stilton edition. Can't remember how much I picked this one up for. It was either £10 or less. So that was a good little buy there. So now I was recommended this film. I was recommended this next film. Sorry, a little bit of a tickle in my throat. By some friends of mine, or a friend of mine, who said, "Oh, it's brilliant, really, really good." It basically tells the story of the Range Rover murders. I've watched 4 films now on that, and I think there's one film that is particularly the best, but this was supposed to be good. I didn't really enjoy it. This is the second worst film on this that I've watched, the Range Rover murders, and it is Bonded by Blood. A lot of people were saying this is a good film. I think it's distinctly average, not particularly good. But the one that I do believe tells the best version of this story is coming up in a moment anyway. So, Bonded by Blood, it's watchable, and that's about it. You know, it'll kill an evening if you've got nothing else to do. So, that's that one. This one here I found in a charity shop. I remembered it being a good film. I watched it on a download, which is Two Guns, Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg. I believe it's about some sort of heist, if I'm correct. I've only watched it once. Picked up for $2.50 in a charity shop. Can't really go wrong. A little bit naughty, $2.50 in a charity shop, really. To pay anything like on a standard DVD, I like to sort of pick them up between £1 and £3, really. If it's really good, you stretch to a £5 or whatever, or if you really, need it or whatever, then you can go more than that. It depends how much you like the film, really, doesn't it? But yeah, so Two Guns, that's worth a watch from what I remember. I'd have to watch it again to be able to give you a decent opinion on it. So that is Two Guns. The next one, also a film I've only seen once, which is the Magnificent Seven remake. Also $2.50 in a charity shop. So I remember this being good. I couldn't really tell you too much about it. So it's in the slipcase, which is nice. Two Guns is in the slipcase. So I believe picked these both up in the same charity shop. $2.50 each. Worth that to add to the collection, isn't it? So, and that was a good film from what I remember as well. Now this next one is also about the Range Rover murders. This is the Stilton edition. I bought this because I actually quite like this film. Rise of the Foot Soldier. This is a Rise of the Foot Soldier Extreme Extended Edition with 20 minutes of all new footage, which I haven't watched yet. It's still sealed. Great film, Rise of the Foot Soldier. Tells a story from the football terraces right through to the clubs, right through to the Range Rover murder. I believe that this is the best film on this story. There's 4 films I've watched, which is Bound in Blood, Essex Boys, Rise of a Foot Soldier, and there's 1 or 2 more. But Rise of a Foot Soldier is the one. If you want to sort of watch, I mean, they do give sort of different people's accounts of the situation, because they never fully, the police never really fully got to who done these murders. But I think this one's the best one for your money. Best acted, best done, best written, best everything. Follow that up, which is Rise of Story 3, the Pat Tate story. This one's doesn't. The second one, I couldn't really follow it. The second one lost me, to be honest. They sort of tell different character stories after that film or during that film or before. This is Pat Tate's story. He's a sort of crazy, sort of muscle steroidy geezer. Not great, but about £6, I think, brand new, still sealed. I watched it on a download and it was okay, so I just added it to the collection. It's probably about £5 brand new. So for that, may as well have all 3 of them, man. But it certainly won't go down in my greatest films of history. It's watchable. Now, next one is a film that I've got, but I bought this because it's. I actually bought this film probably within the month ago. But I bought this because this has a slipcover, and the slipcover is so nice. And if you haven't seen this film, this is a very good film. It is The Devil's Double, and I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It is a 3D lenticular case. So you've got the main guy sat in a chair, golden chair. He's all in gold, and there's bullets, and the bullets actually look like they're in the air with a 3D lenticular image. It's really, really nice. I paid $1.49 for this. It was $2.99 in charity shop, $1.49. So I picked that up for $1.49. A really, really good film. If you haven't seen this, watch this film. This guy basically is based on Saddam Hussein's son, which if he took over, he was 10 or 20 times worse than Saddam Hussein. He was a real nasty piece of work, who was basically allowed everything as a child and to do whatever he wished, whoever he wished. Yeah, really good film. Really, really good film. It's about a guy who looks just like him, so he becomes the Devil's Double, hence the name Devil's Double. And a really good film. If you haven't watched this, highly recommend a watch. So this is going to my collection. My other one will be going to my friend Marcus, because he says he hasn't seen it and he doesn't own it. So that's what we do. If he gets a double, I generally have it. If I haven't got it, if he gets a double, vice versa. We just sort each other out. That's what you do with your Marcus, isn't it? You help each other out. So next one is a film. Love the film. Some of you guys who might have not seen it, you've probably definitely seen the Family Guy skit, but really, really cool. I wanted to get on Blu-ray. It's a little collecting tip. If you see this on Blu-ray at the Booters, whatever, pick it up because it's worth a lot of money. But I couldn't really justify paying the money on Blu-ray. Hopefully it'll come down at some point. So I bought it on DVD. Brand new, and it is Patrick Swayze, Roadhouse. Roadhouse is a classic 80s film. It is 80s, isn't it? 89. 1989. Absolutely classic brawler. Sort of, the Patrick and his mates sort of look after the doors at this rough roadhouse side sort of pub and club sort of place. They come in, they sort it all out, and they have many troubles with the locals. If you haven't seen Roadhouse, highly recommend it. Go and watch it. Fantastic. I'm not sure how much this was. Probably £3 or £4 brand new, maybe up to £6. But Roadhouse, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it, and I needed it in my collection, so I bought it. Right, the washing machine's picking up. I don't know if you can hear it. If you can, I'm really sorry. Next one, Bill and Ted's Bogus Adventure, isn't it? Oh, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Sorry. Apparently, there's a third Bill and Ted's film coming. So, but seen this in the charity shop, didn't have it from a collection. It's Bill and Ted's, I needed to get it. So, probably doesn't hold up to what it was like back in the day, but a cool, fun film from way back when. Is it 90s? 91. So, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So, Bogus Journey and Bogus Adventure. There's two of them, and I believe there's a third one coming, so it's in the post. Right, next one, being from Bristol. Seen this in a charity shop the other day, so I had to liberate it. It's always a bit upsetting to see. So it is Creature Comforts. If you remember, it's by Aardman Animation, who are a Bristol animation company responsible for Morph, the Strepsils advert where the apple turns into a cactus. What else? Wallace and Gromit, obviously their biggest one. Pirates. The Creature Comforts adverts. Absolutely fantastic studio. I believe their Morph was their first thing they'd done. Remember on Heartbeat with was it Tony something, wasn't it? But yeah, so this is Creature Comforts. Don't know if you remember like the British Gas adverts. They used to have a Bristolian family talking about how the gas appliance helped them. It's very easy. It's very off and honourable. If you can't remember what I'm about, if you want to have a good crack, just go Creature Comforts British Gas on YouTube, and you'll see it. I showed it to a friend of mine, Moser, She's not from England, so she'd never seen them before, and she was just laughing with the mannerisms of the characters. Very very cool. She found it very funny. But like I said, they are really good at what they do. Aardman Animation. And being from Bristol, I have the original Creature Comforts Disc 1. So this is Creature Comforts Series 2 Part 1. So I believe they made a series of this, so pretty cool. So I don't know if they've done Shaun the Sheep. They might have done that. But Shaun the Sheep's pretty cool as well. But I'm not sure if Aardman Animation and do the Shaun the Sheep. Probably. Right, away from the Bristol scene again now. Another comedy which not a lot of people know about, or I'm not aware that too many people, me and my mates know about it, but never really see it on DVD about. So I went out of my way and bought this on eBay, and it is CB4, which is a sort of parody taking a mick out of NWA, written by Chris Rock. And just really, really funny. A really cool film. And the good thing about this is they got most of the rappers and gangsters to participate in this film, which is really, really, really funny. If you haven't seen this, it's a parody of most sort of films. You know, Boys in the Hood, NWA. You know, really, really cool. If you haven't seen, I can't talk up and do it justice. You'll have to watch it, but Chris Rock wrote this really funny. So it's about a group of just normal kids who basically become massive music, you know, gangster rappers basically, but they're not gangster at all. And yeah, it's a really, really, really cool film. So that's CB4. So if you haven't seen CB4, I suggest you go and see it. Really cool film. Chris Rock. Like old Chris Rock, so really cool. Next one, our R.I.P. as well. He's no longer with us. Is Howard Marks, who became Mr. Nice. This is the guy who was responsible in his peak for, I believe, 90% of the world's cannabis. So he was a UK drug smuggler from Wales. And this tells of how he was a child genius almost. Goes to university and stumbles along the world of drugs and set throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and the adventures and mischief that he got up to along the way. True story, absolute legend. Used to be the head of the legalised cannabis campaign in the UK. Mr. Marks, we will miss you. If you haven't seen the movie, I highly, highly, highly there's a bit of a pun there, isn't it? Highly recommend it. So, and whatever state you want to watch it in, it's up to you. Right. Next film, and the last one in this pile, is a film that I bought because it is called The Bristol Boys. I've yet to watch this. I thought it was about... it says based on a true story. I thought it was about Bristol. But it's about Bristol in America. So it's an interesting sounding story. I can't really say too much about it. Basically, this kid, he gets involved with a few things, doing a few wrong things. Says he has big dreams and wants to get into real estate, making decent money, drive a nice car. He's a guy with a natural gift for sales. And he's smart to boot. He's also impatient. So instead of working his way up to the top, he takes the riskier route of becoming a pot dealer in his hometown of Bristol, Connecticut. This is no ordinary weed pushing through the super powerful stuff, like of which people in Bristol will pay a lot of money for. So I thought I'd watch that. I thought it was about my hometown, apparently based on a true story. So give it a go. Alright, YouTube, that's the first of me movie pickups. I might do some sort of more stuff along this. I'm really into sort of films. I might show. It would take far too long to show my whole film collection. I actually let 600 DVDs go, just to make some space. I had around 2,000, I think. But I've got some real nice pieces and treasures and perhaps show you the best of, like, you know, show you some of the real good stuff. So, all right, YouTube, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.